Just throw it all away and start over.
All right, we're starting over. Aimless Battle Z, episode 393. So much fun playing some history, more aimless history for you, and news. So yeah, what you been
Gonna
playing?
be drunk English history?
Haven't.
Did we lose him entirely?
Can you guys hear me?
Probably.
You guys can hear me? You
Okay,
guys?
Oh,
we can hear you
can
now.
now.
Okay, that was weird. So yeah. Apparently taking his new computer or laptop or something, because
Yes.
seriously, what the F?
Except for
Who
the money part, but yes.
doesn't?
Wait, what do you mean except for the money part?
Because you have to spend money to get a new laptop. So,
New computer.
Yeah, 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 yeah. Anywho, so yeah, not really playing anything on the handheld front because I don't know. I was sick this like entire week, so I just I was trying to recover, so didn't really play much. And then I'm on my phone using this app called Duolingo, and it basically I'm trying to go through it and learn some Spanish and Japanese. It's weird though, because like back in RPG like learned this fun fact a couple weeks ago. He's like, "What?" Where I was like, "Oh, I know some of these Japanese characters, or play with these Japanese players on Monster Hunter." And then like it's super weird to like go back into it because there's like a placement test and it's like way harder, as like way more advanced. I was like, dude, I'm just gonna start from the beginning. But then like the beginning is like super easy, and I'm just like, whatever. I'll just slowly get there and like start learning new things when I get to a new part where I can like learn new things. So it's just like going over hiragana. But then like you can see like the course layout when you go to the menu, and there's like 4 units of your hiragana. And I'm like, dude, this is gonna take a while. But I'm like, whatever. I need to review anyway. So because I got to like the counting and I already knew the counting, but then I forgot there's like 2 ways to say 4. So instead of saying ichi ni san shi, instead of saying shi, it was like saying yon. So I was like, oh, so this version is like yon in this one, so whatever. So I'll just go along with it, whatever. Kind of forgot that was a thing. You could say 4 2 different ways, whatever. So that's the whole thing. So I was like, okay, that's neat. I still remember all the counting. I remember most of the characters. That's a nice refresher. I was like, my hiragana is pretty solid, I gotta say. We had like really good mnemonic devices. Like if I could go back in time, I would just like copy those designs of those flashcards and then like try to like make them my own and like make $1 billion off them or something and be like, seriously, that's like looking back at it now, I was like, man, those were some really good flashcards that like I totally like remember my stuff because of them. So yeah. But let's see. In Spanish, I'm terrible in Spanish, dude. I can like I like I've only been doing it like maybe like a week, and then it's just not. It's weird because it's like ill, but then the word that you're using after that is not always the same. If it's like he, she, they, you.
well, yeah, that's because you have to conjugate it differently for each of the
So
words and stuff.
I'm just
So,
saying, dude. I'm just saying, not the same as English, so it's throwing me off. So just
obviously, it's a different language. Like,
so yeah, that's the game I'm playing. Is learning different languages on this app called Duolingo. So that's neat. It's fun time gamification. I was like, oh yeah, it's good. It's the exact like this achievement system and all these like things that like pop out at you, and it's like it's free, but then it's like these ads are so we can have it free. So like every now and then it's like there's some ads, but it's like it's nothing super intrusive. So it's like that's neat. Um, Besides that, I think the only thing I've been playing is oh yeah, Monster Hunter, duh. Because I played some Destiny, but I'm not gonna. It's that effing game. I'm not gonna even bother with it. It was just a grind to get my samurai ornamentations on my Iron Banner stuff because I wanted to look like the characters in Ready Player One. So I was like, yeah, I'm a samurai, yeah. Because they kind of got that whole thing of like, because it made me like remember when like we first got swords in that game. Everybody's like, oh man, I got a sword, so cool.
oh yeah, remember those days when the swords first were a thing, and then some of them had special abilities, and you had to go through the stupid thingy in order to power them up, and that was super fun, and it wasn't fun. It wasn't fun at all. But then the swords were all cool and shot rings of electricity, and the other stuff those other ones did, I'm assuming, was cool. But electricity thing, man, for the win.
So yeah, now I have the armor to match the weapons, so I can be like, I'm a samurai with my sword, oh yeah. And then all my characters have it, so it's like, oh yeah. And there's only one DLC left, and that can be free. It's like, war mine, whatever, man. But back to Monster Hunter. Oh man, Colve Teroth, man, that is Siege mode. That hit the spot. I mean, sure, it's a grind, and like, sure, the drop rate's terrible. That being said, it is pretty cool. I kind of feel like it's a Frieza fight, 'cause it's like multiple forms. Then you get to the final form in the final room, and you gotta take it down, and it's just super epic of like the lava coming from the ceiling, and there's fire everywhere, and it's like super intense. And playing with randoms, I gotta say, I've had a lot of people die on me, and it's like, no, you're so glass, or just like, why? It just, I was streaming before the podcast, and like 90 minutes. It took 90 minutes to get one effing clear on the final boss room. It's like,
Yeesh. Your luck is just
I
horrible
still
then
have the
because
same
it's like,
group, and then
oh,
I was just like kept hosting the game. I was like, okay, whatever, I'll just keep going until we get it. And there's like we almost got it the time before that, but then two people like wiped right there, and I was like, whatever. Next, let's see if we can get it next time. And then luckily there was like someone that was like not terrible that joined us. So I was like, yay, let's see how this goes, and it did. So that's a thing. So I wanted to
thanks.
experiment and just like solo, but I was like, I don't know if this would be very fun to solo. So whatever. So
It is.
besides, the bar goes up all the time anyway, and like you get better rewards the higher it goes. So even if you fail, you get rewarded. So at least there's that. But yeah, it's pretty funny because like it'll break certain parts, and there'll be like a bunch of different smaller parts on the floor. So it's like you're fighting the monster, but there's all this loot, and it's very tempting. And you just like want to like start getting their loot, and then they'll attack you sometimes, and you're like, no, I was grabbing loot. Why'd you do that? So, but then after a certain point, you have enough crap, and it's just I need the certain things. Like right now, I just need the gems, and I'm done. I'm not done, but I'm like I have the armor. Finally, it's just I haven't been able to make the armor. So it's like I need the 8 gems still. And then the patch they increased the streamstone thingies from the tempered elder dragons, and I gotta say that basically just like was like a whole push of like stuff for me to do now in the game, like new stuff to do, because basically I need, before I had made the final form of each sword, but now I need like 4 or 5 of them. I think 5, because I can't stop. That's just the way I am. And like I mean, I don't need every like 5 forms of each sword, but it's like, dude, like you gotta have options. It's like I just feel like some swords would be super awesome with like more attack or healing. It's like, or I just like I'd like to have healing on every sword, but it's like then it's like it won't have more attack or anything. It's like, well, I'll just make 5 of each. How about that? And then there we go, magicness of. And I have like a ton of parts anyway, so it's like it's cool. It's like, except for the what am I trying to make now? The Nergigante sword for the long sword. I didn't have enough to make 5 of them because I didn't have enough Xenojiva, I want to say horns, I think, or claws. It's probably horns. So, that's the thing. I'm going to go back and find Xenojiva. But Xenojiva is like super easy now, so it's like, I ain't scared. And then like all the other monsters, I've been killing them for like months and hunting them and capturing them, for hunting and capturing them for months. So it's like, whatever, dude. Like more, it's like a super weird way that it retroactively adds more gameplay to your gameplay, or not gameplay, gameplay time, or time spent playing that game, even though like you already played it a ton. It's like, oh, well, now I have the augmentations to do. And then like I was almost giving up on augmentations, honestly, because I was like not getting the stuff. I kept getting not blade thingies, or was it swords? No, it's not swords, because swords is like duels and sword and shield. So it's like blades are the ones I need. And I wasn't getting any of them. And I finally got one. I was like, yes! And it was like 4 a.m. or something. I tweeted it out. I was like, yes! And then after that, I was like, good thing I have all those effing Valhazaks that I just effing sat on, because now I can go through and be like, hey, Valhazak, how's it going? Because I'm kind of an expert now at fighting him. And just smack him in the face with my sweet health regen sword. But not really, because that's not the one I use when I fight him. I use the fire sword because it burns his flesh off. It's super effective. It's delicious. It's delicious. I love it. I just love how I've just, gotten so efficient at killing that mofo. But yeah, man, Monster Hunter, I'm back in it. I'm back in the whole loop of like, oh, I need this now. Let me do that. Oh, I need this. Let me do that. Oh, Kove Taroth. Oh, let me get some gold. And I was super angry because like one of the people I was playing with that was terrible. It kept dying, had like the gold armor, and I was like, they don't deserve that gold armor. So,
But you still didn't have the armor?
Iron Jesus has spited me again. I do not have the armor RPG, but I didn't play all weekend because I was sick. But now that I'm back and not super sick, I can go back to grinding, and then next week I'm totally gonna like a 24-hour craziness session because I want it. So
I had the stuff to make the armor within like 3 siege missions.
Well, good for you, because that is not what I have. Go back and look at my stream, and like all the times I cleared it, and guess I didn't get any effing gems. So yeah,
Oh, I'm sorry to hear that. If it makes you feel any better, I have a full armor set now.
doesn't make me feel any better. So yeah,
Oh, well. If it makes you feel any better, I also got my golden hunting horn, so there's that. I mean, if it makes you feel any better, I already got everything I wanted, so I mean, I didn't have to play Siege anymore. I was just pretty much playing it for fun so I can sell everything off and have millions of monies. I mean, if it makes you feel any better, I mean, everything worked out for me. I mean, if it makes you feel any better, I mean, my luck is far better than yours, so I mean, there's that. But, I mean,
whatever.
if it makes you feel any better, no, I'm just kidding. I'm gonna stop now. It was fun though. I did enjoy the siege for that, because it's kind of like a giant team cooperative mission, but not really. Because I mean, you're all not there, but you know, you're all there in spirit, kind of. So everybody else is like completing this mission of knocking off this thing's horns and all this fun stuff, and then. But it only kind of sucks because like if you're in a situation where like Tekken is in, where you have like a bunch of like crappy people, and then you have like a team that's in the same gathering hall and they're just like wrecking the monster, and then it's like you're not going to be able to get your bar high enough before it's too late, and then get your rewards, and that would be bad. But I didn't have that problem. I had really good luck, so I was not Tekken, thankfully. So it's fun to like knock his horns off, and he gets to his final form, and he's all like, I'm gonna kill you," but then we kill him instead, or something, or scare him off,
I think the cool thing is like
or scare her off. I should
when
say.
you
Sorry.
when you break the horns, it runs away. So like it kind of feels like the villain gets away. Still, you didn't kill them. So it's still out there somewhere, plotting and scheming and monstering. To another
Yes,
lair.
monstering.
Until we hunt it down and vanquish it again.
It's like, yeah, I guess she has to grow her horns back.
Maybe they'll
She's
be
like-
made of platinum or obsidian or something. Ooh, who knows?
Ooh, then we can get new armors and new sieges. Actually, hope
Silvery,
they have
ooh,
more
yes, I love
things
that.
like this, because there are other giant monsters that were in the previous Monster Hunters that could work for something like this. So hopefully they continue doing like these siege events and stuff, because it'd be fun and cool. So I'm glad they did it. It was fun. I enjoyed it, and I got my hunting horn, so I'm good. Although I probably have to get the Switch X too, but yeah. I like how the golden weapons look though. They're cool. They're cool looking. And they're shiny. They have random abilities and stats.
So just how many... Oh wait, they're random stats?
They're random like elements and stuff. So it does change randomly. I mean, so it's like, yeah, you have to go through it to keep running to get the one you want. But I mean, eventually you probably will. It's not. I mean, there's not like huge differences in stats. Just more like the elements and how much each element has. Because there's some that have elements that are as high as like, I think it's like 600 or 700 in the elements.
What?
I think it's like ridiculous for some of them. But the rarity 8 ones are all the final forms of them basically. So I guess if you're going for that, you would go that route if you want to do the whole have all the weapons thing. So, because I think I have most of them except for the heavy, or actually you need the bow guns, and then that's it. I think that's it. Just the bow gun, and then yeah.
Is there like a number on how many there are? Because if there's 15 different weapons, and there's like...
There's
one
15
for each
final
element.
weapons for it, but there's different variations of the less rare ones. So you don't really need those.
But RPG, what if I want a poison weapon for like every weapon? But then that'd be like 6... Oh no, that's not 60, that'd be 15 different. If you just have to try to get the poison one, but that's like good luck with that, so...
I mean, you don't even use all of the weapons, so you really only need a
I'm
poison
just
one
saying,
of the
I'm just saying, maybe
long sword.
Eventually, when I finally switch... I actually checked my guild card the other day, and it was like 777 longsword guns. So I'm getting there. I'm getting closer to 1,000. Still not having switched weapons, so that's funny.
But yeah, I've already slotted my new armor and everything. It can be my new hunting horn armor because it's gaudy, and I'm like, oh, this is nice. It's nice and gaudy, like my bard outfit. So it's gold. It's solid gold, baby. But yes, sieging is fun. Although some people are not great at not getting murdered, so there's that. I've actually noticed that in Monster Hunter recently, is like people seem to be afraid to heal themselves for some reason. So then we end up failing missions for stupid reasons. All because you wouldn't use a potion.
But yeah, Monster Hunter World. That's basically all I've been up to. Is the sieging, and then eventually all those Alphazaks I've got stored up to get all those Dreamstones, and all those variations of the awesome swords. So yeah, yay, yeah. That's all I'm playing.
Yay.
Well, I did not play Monster Hunter.
What? You haven't
I've mostly
sieged yet?
played- No, I have not.
Oh my goodness.
I don't know what that is. Right, I know what that is. I just haven't done it.
So disappointed. I couldn't
Yeah,
be any more
no.
disappointed if I tried.
I have so many games I want to play right now, but it's difficult. But yeah, I started because this is the last week of Paragon. Paragon dies on Thursday. I don't know when exactly, but it will happen, and then there'll be no more Paragon.
And I'm sad now because man, Paragon, so many memories and
So many hours.
hours. So much Paragon, and now it's gonna be gone. It's gonna be no longer a thing. And it's like, man, what am I gonna do with my life? Be productive? Who does that? So, just I don't know. I don't know, man. I don't know.
Well, so because it's the end, I decided to play the last few days in the way that I used to play, which is every morning and during the podcast.
The final.
Not every podcast.
It was every podcast.
It was not.
It was every podcast.
I can't read and play Paragon at the same time.
Yeah, but you still played it. You just stopped that when you started having to do the news. I mean, it doesn't mean you weren't playing. So this is the final bittersweet Paragon while you podcast. But don't
like
tell
really
Tekken.
laggy,
He'd
so
be
it's
like,
pretty bad.
be mad at us. Because he'd be all
But,
like, why you guys Paragon while we're podcasting? We're like, we're not doing that. We're totally doing that. So
It's hard without sound and lots of
That's true.
difficulties. But anyway,
I keep getting like
it's kind of
surprise
funny.
attack.
Like, I would have thought that the last days would be different. You know, you hear all these stories about MMOs shutting down, and everyone sort of gathers in harmony to watch the world disintegrate and all these things, and like Star Wars Galaxies like that or whatever. This game, so far, it's kind of exactly the same. The only thing that's changed is the queue times are longer because apparently, there's probably less people. But yeah, like there are still the belligerent people who are like, "Hey, you're not doing the thing you're supposed to be doing." It's like does it
we
matter? Am I going to
about to
damage
say.
your win-lose stats?
It's like we
in
have
this
nothing to
game? Does it
lose now.
exist anymore?
The game is done.
And like I'm still reporting players for like bad behaviors. Like, maybe that's why, because this probably doesn't mean anything anymore. unless they're gonna like carry it over to Fortnite. It's like your reputation extends through all of the Epic games.
Could you imagine? You'd be like, you were pissy in Paragon that one time. You are banned. Banned.
So you don't get to jump out of the bus. You're stuck in the bus until the next game.
Could that be a solution, maybe, to have like a across all game wide like thing? I mean, that's kind of like what the Xbox Live thing was supposed to be back in the day,
Yeah.
with, like the whole star system. But
Like that's what gamer tags are.
like
And like I think it kind of probably works. Like, I mean, if you get banned from your Steam account or from your PSN account, like you are losing a lot more than just the ability to play games, especially if you have digital games.
Losing your lifeblood.
You're losing like a ton of stuff.
So I saw at I don't know if it was GDC or something, when like Microsoft was like, one of the things we're going to be doing is trying to like combat toxicity or whatever. Or was it inclusivity? I don't remember. But they're like throwing their hat in the ring of like, okay, we're gonna be on this now. And I was like, good luck with that, guys. Blizzard still hasn't cracked that nut in like 10 years, so have fun.
Game, have fun.
Well, you know, I think it's good that they're taking it all seriously now. Like before, it really was, yeah, we'll like temp ban them, but we're kind of afraid to ban a lot of people because then nobody will play. Like no one can play the game.
Yeah,
but now, like with
all games started doing it,
yeah,
it'll make people stand up and take note.
It's actually funny because like what they did was like go outside the game of like, we're gonna find you even if you're commenting on things on our YouTube channel or something, and then find your gamer tag from there, extrapolate the data, and we'll find you. You can't hide from us, or something like that. I can't remember exactly.
Well, like Overwatch League, or not Overwatch League, just regular Overwatch, and I think some other Blizzard games have it too. It's a zero tolerance, so it's like there is no, as I understand it, there's not really a warning system. It's just like, oh, you're out.
It's like, you're done. You're basic.
But yeah. So a cool thing that we discovered is that everything is really cheap right now.
It is.
So they reduced. So I requested a refund and I got it, and then I never looked in the game until now, and I looked and I got to keep all the stuff that I had bought with that money. And I was like, you know what? I guess that makes sense, because like, what would be the point of going through people's accounts and like being all petty and like taking away the stuff that they requested the refund for? Because like all of it's going to be gone shortly anyway, and that will require zero work because that was the plan. That's going to happen. And so I was like, oh, that's cool. And then I went in the store and was like, oh, wow, like they took, nothing costs any significant amount anymore. So things that used to cost coins, which were the premium currency, the real money thing, all cost reputation now, which is the thing you earn from playing games. And not only that, all the reputation costs have been reduced to 1. So everything costs 1. So some context, I have close to 6 million reputation. The only thing left that I can really buy, I mean, there's a few costumes, but I'm like, I'm not gonna go through the store and just like loot the place right now. I mean,
I did.
But what's kind of fun is buying the loot crates, which are they used to be premium currency stuff. Just buying them all, buying it, like 200 at a time, and then opening them all in rapid succession. It's like, oh, if this was still real, like this is what rich people must feel like in Paragon. The funny thing, so there's a lot of stuff in the chests, mostly like skins, emotes, and stuff like that. I think I counted it was close to 300 different things, and then they also give you gold. But now gold is the consolation prize, which is it's the most worthless thing, even more worthless than costumes you won't be able to keep past Thursday, because you can't. There's nothing that takes gold anymore. So I've won. I had 2,000 gold 2 days ago, and now I have like 10,000 gold because I keep getting gold. It's like, oh, I keep losing.
I'm at like 8,000 gold. It's ridiculous.
It's
And it's
pretty-
worthless, so it's like, no, back when I actually needed this. Where were you? Where were you?
So that's fun. So that's just like opening loot crates is what I do while I wait for matches because it takes longer now. And then the playing seems exactly the same. It doesn't seem like it's only the hardcore people left. It doesn't seem like everyone is all like unified in in awaiting the inevitable. It's the same as it's always been. Cool and also not cool. So I think I'll play one more time tomorrow morning, and then Thursday, if it's still up in the morning, maybe I'll play some more.
We'll just pour one out for Paragon and sing some Boys to Men, and that'll be it. That'll be it, man. We'll be done. And then all that's left is Smite, which somehow survived despite being terrible. So, just putting that out there. So,
They had like first movers advantage. They were first.
I mean, is that really good enough reason to just, I don't know. I don't know, man. It's very clumsy and not, it's just not great.
Yeah,
It's just not great.
it's not a good feeling game.
Cool concept, but terrible execution. Because I love mythological creatures and stuff.
It's funny, like playing it, I still can't really tell you why I spent so much time playing Paragon. It's just like, I don't know, it was fun.
The feel of winning.
I do like how it's it's this competitive stuff, which I guess I like, but it's not as simple as, oh, I have the twitchiest hands on planet Earth, so I'm going to be the best.
And then Tropical was my dealer, so I ended up getting it too. And the next thing you know, hundreds upon hundreds of hours gone.
It cost you nothing.
It
Except
cost me
your
nothing
time.
except my time, which I can't get back and is technically priceless. So
I
it's
was about to
fine.
say, which kind of has like, the most value of
The
anything,
most
really, if you
valuable
think about it.
resource.
It's fine. It's all fine. It's all fine.
The only one they're not making more of.
It's like, well, not an actual currency, probably the most valuable, because how you spend it, you cannot really get it back once you've done that.
Yep.
You cannot.
If you had infinite time, you could get infinite amounts of all the other currencies.
Yes.
So yeah, that's Paragon as it is today. Soon you will not hear about it again. Unless one of these fan-made ones turns out to be really cool.
Which would be kind of hilarious if it ends up becoming like successful under someone else's like umbrella thingy, and then it's like, oh no.
Like the thing for me though is like a lot of the fans, quote unquote, do not like the game, or like the most vocal fans don't like how it is right now. And I do like it how it is right now. So that gives me pause for any of the fan versions.
Well,
But
because I think part of it though is like because a lot of the things that made it unique were probably like stripped away to make the current version.
uh,
And it's like because you remember like back in the day where we had like the dunk mechanic for the prime orb and everything,
yeah,
other nonsense, and it's like, oh, this is kind of cool. But then that was like done away with. I guess complete people were complaining that it was taking too long, or but I mean that's kind of the point. Well, there were some people complaining because I saw people just like, "Oh my gosh, why do I have to go through all this trouble?" And it's like it kind of makes sense. It's a super powered buff thingy. You don't want to like have it just anybody just get it when they touch it. Otherwise, it's like, well, we're doomed because they got the prime orb. So it's like there was still like a fight for it. You didn't just have to, it just wasn't just like insta win kind of thing. So it was nice. But now, yeah, it kind of turned. There was a lot more genericness added to it, and I mean, I still enjoyed it to the end, and there's a lot of stuff at the. I kind of miss like back when we had like the full deck of cards kind of thing, and you can add the add-ons and stuff to it. But
yeah.
but I mean, the new card system have like cool effects and stuff, but it would have been nice if they would have like integrated that into like the old deck system kind of thing instead, so we can like still have cool effects, but still have like our powerful card builds and stuff, and it would have just made things more interesting. But you live and you learn. You live and you learn. Then you get loves the diaper. So yeah, yeah.
But beyond Paragon, I just like did daily stuff. So I tried to do the daily workout for Gran Turismo every day. That did not work out actually because as soon as I started playing Paragon, it's like, well, that was the time that I was doing that. So now it's gone. So I should be able to get back to that later on. And then Fortnite, they've been doing a new version of 50 on 50,
Oh my.
which I think is a lot better. The first time they did 50 on 50, it was like you still have your squad of four. It was kind of like Mag, I guess. It was like you have your squad of four, and then you're on a team of 50. But unlike Mag, there is no inter squad communication. So it really did feel like the squads mode, basically, except that sometimes when you ran into other people, they wouldn't be trying to kill you because they would be on your team. In the new version, there's just one storm circle. So at the very beginning of the match, you know where it's going to end up. And then on top of that, each team gets its own bus. So the bus is just flying, or there's two buses flying, and you're on opposite sides of the map. So there is a whole sort of like preparation phase where you run around with your teammates and you're like scavenging and getting weapons. And then you end up in the circle, and then like it's more of a big team fight rather than sort of normal squads mode, which I think it's like a lot better. The only difference, or the only downside I see though, is the way I play more stealth and like slower means that I have a hard time getting weapons. Usually what you can do is you can get some weapons, and then if you don't have good weapons, sneak up on some people, kill them, and take their weapons. But in 50 on 50, the people who are near you in the beginning that you could do that to are all of your teammates, so you can't kill any of them. There's no friendly fire. And so they have all the good stuff, and they're just running off with it, and you have, like, crappy things. And you just say, well, that's, I guess this is it. We're going to do
like
this.
real life.
Okay, I have a question about that. Is the
Sure.
Oh, wait, what?
No, go ahead.
Oh, is the map optimized for that play, like 50 versus 50, 100 players, or is it just like the same map from the
It's the same map.
Aimless?
It's the same map. Just
Is,
like, well,
So it's not
that's the
even
that's
bigger. It's not even like scaled up.
nope.
That's
Well,
weird.
because the usual map has 100 people on it. It's
And
just usually they're all against each
it's
other,
just all
or
battle royale
it's like
oh
groups
style.
of
yeah.
four are against each other.
But then,
Now
like the
it's
way you
just
said
like
it with
two groups of
like when it was
50.
like in the 4-player squads before they had it now, like is it more noticeable that it's like 50 versus 50?
Yeah, and that's because of two things. Like one, because you have the two buses. So before it was just one bus, and so all 100 people on either team were on one bus, and then they would just jump out, and then it would be progressively smaller storm circles, or the safe zone, and so that is exactly the same way that regular squads works. This one having the two buses gives you that, oh, all these are my teammates right now in the beginning, and also just having the one circle that you know where it's going to be at the very beginning of the match, like that's where the fighting is going to happen. And so, because before, when it was just everyone's on one bus, you could just drop down and be surrounded by the other team, and then you just die. But then now it's far less likely because you're dropping on different sides of the map, and like why? I mean, I guess there is some advantage to fighting not in the circle. You could sort of sneak to the other side of the map, I guess, and fight some people over there. Uh, but yeah, just the setup makes it. It really is like at the end, there's a ton of guys there, all shooting at each other, or not all shooting at each other, but shooting at each other. That didn't make sense. The breathing goes and the brain goes with it.
Well, he's not wrong.
Um, well, so I sort of had to adapt my stealth way of play. So basically, I get any weapon I can in the beginning, and it really doesn't matter what. And then I just run to the circle, and I find like a bush to hide in, and then I wait, and I look around and watch like, okay, where's the battle going to sort of go down here? And it'll be around the perimeter. It'll like start shifting around the perimeter as the battle goes on, and then I will wait for some people to die and then go scavenge their stuff. And it's worked pretty well so far. It's really cool though, because I think people are getting more and more used to the building abilities or capability that you have in Fortnite. So, especially on 50, you see these gigantic forts. They remind me of like when you're making a house of cards. It's like that kind of structure because you could just make these triangles essentially. People are building ramps. Someone discovered that just because of the way that the weapons and aiming works, if you get even a little bit higher than the person you're trying to kill and you shoot down at them, then the area that your reticle covers is like almost 60-70% just their head. So a shotgun will just, destroy them in one hit. And very hard to miss because the spread is just all on their head. And so now you'll just see these crazy battles where people are just building ramps towards each other and trying to get higher than the other person so that they can shoot down at them. And so that's just like two people. And so you imagine extrapolate from there to like 30 people. It gets pretty crazy, but it looks super cool. It's like, wow, they're building so fast. It's awesome.
I just want a Japanese developer to come along and make a battle royale game, kind of like battle royale, where it's like school children on an island fighting each other, or Japanese school children. Let me be specific. And then, Yeah, just like Monster, and it's like, let's show these Western developers how it's done. And it's like way funner and better. So can't wait.
So you want an actual battle royale
Wait,
game?
wait, wait, wait. Why does it have to be Japanese school children?
Because that's
Be-
the how Japanese. That's how the battle royale. I mean, I'm
Because they're the more ingenuity, man. Ingenuity. They'd make it crazy.
Isn't that the name of that movie, Battle Royale?
Yes,
I
What's
mean,
the name of the book?
because like the way that the mode is
Just-
named
it just
that
sounded
just makes
very
me,
strange to
it
me.
makes
It's
me
like
think that that's like what it's
school
based off.
children.
Why do
I
you
mean,
want children
Japanese
to
school
murder? I was
children.
like,
Why do you want
I
Japanese
specifically
school
them.
children to be like the characters?
because they're the kings of battle and queens of battle royale.
I mean, and if it was from a Japanese developer, it would make sense. Just like Persona, it's like it's got Japanese school kids in it. I mean, not school kids, but like people in school, whatever, uniforms, all that stuff. So it makes sense. And it's like
You want a bunch of kids to murder each other, basically.
from an aesthetic standpoint, it would make sense.
Cool.
I mean, we're not judging you, but we're also kind of judging you.
I mean, it was so popular. Even Marvel copied it in Avengers Undercover, or Avengers, was it Undercover? I don't know. It was good though. I had to look it up.
I don't know what you're referring to.
I think it was Avengers Undercover. It was basically like a battle royale, and it was like a story arc, and it was like a bunch of the Avenger Academy Avengers, the children, they're the teen ones. They all fight each other to the death on
Oh.
on an island. I mean, it wasn't an island. It was like something Arcade was doing. He made them all fight each other. Blah blah blah. I don't remember, but it was pretty good.
I mean-
I read the first issue. I was like, oh man, but then I was kind of like over it because I was like, there's like plenty of this right now, and I'm not really too into it.
How'd
so.
that work, though? Because a lot of them are in much higher tiers than others, and on top of that, you can't really confine them because some of them can fly, I'm assuming.
There's a way. There's a way.
They have a dome.
I mean, how does that work against the super strong ones?
It's a really strong dome.
So, what about the teleporters?
It's a really strong dome.
With the anti-teleporting stuff.
So, what about the magic people?
This is how comics work.
Yeah, dude, you just gotta go with it.
If they want to do it, they can do it.
I'm just saying. About
All teleportation is actually magic, and it's anti-magic.
So then, this material that whatever this dome is made of, where exactly did they find enough of it to make a dome like that? Because I'm assuming it would be super rare if it's going to be able to stop all this stuff. So, like, what's going on? What's going on here?
Aliens.
Fair enough. But then, why would the aliens give all of this material to this person just to have a bunch of death matches?
They made it. Aliens love deathmatch.
Why?
Do you really want to know?
Yes. Yes, I do, actually.
It's okay. It's called Avengers Arena, not Avengers Undercover. There we go.
Like, why are aliens so bloodthirsty where they're just like, yes, yes, make them fight to the death?
They don't have a lot going on.
I mean, I can actually get behind that.
I mean,
I
if you
can
think about it, aliens that have the ability to reach us from whatever star system they're from, they're pretty advanced. So advanced that they're approaching the end times of their civilization. And so, just like the Romans, they're bored and, they've exhausted all entertainment possibilities beyond blood sport.
I accept this explanation.
Good.
Like Tropical Palpatine. Good. Good. Oh. I don't even remember what we were talking about. Oh yeah, when I brought that up. And you're like,
Think
why
about
are
blood
you bringing it up,
sports
Tekken?
and-
And I was like, I just didn't think about it. And I was like, I did that on Avengers. It was great. Avengers Arena. It's the whole thing.
Mm.
So yeah, that's I did get God of War. In fact, you want to hear something else crazy? I also got Far Cry 5.
Oh my.
I
Wait, but you never said you played Far Cry 5.
of either of. I know. That's not the weird thing. In fact, I guess
Well, obviously.
me buying it is also not the weird thing. So never mind. Totally unsurprising thing. I got Far Cry 5 and God of War. I haven't played them. The God of War one makes me sad though.
It should, because it is the best game ever. Is what I would be
Like
saying.
God.
That's how
I really like the original God of Wars. I'm not one of these people, the new critics who are all like, "Oh, God of War is one-dimensional, blah blah blah." And then they saw this one, I was like, "Oh, it's amazing." I like the old God of Wars too.
I mean, in all fairness, the old God of Wars were kind of one note. I mean, he wasn't bothering with the whole emotional connection to characters, and it was just all about sex and violently beheading and or ripping apart various deities and or mythological creatures, which don't get me wrong, is super fun because, you know, murder. But
I mean, I thought the whole like story about why he looks the way he does and all that was like compelling. That was really compelling to me. I was like,
But that was about it.
yeah.
They just Hercules it, and then all of a sudden they decided, that's all the justification we need. Everything else, blood, lots and lots of blood. Take off
Well-
everything's heads. Everything's head.
There was also like the Pandora thing.
Everything's
And the
head.
third one, and then the sort of what is it called when you want to kill your father? That
Patricide?
thing. Patricide?
Or I
No.
think that's when you actually successfully kill them. I mean,
I'll Google it.
I mean, I guess it's preemptive murder or premeditated murder is the only thing. Just the term for it for anything. There's no specific for if you want to kill your father. Just that,
Oh,
yeah,
good point.
you want to commit patricide,
Wouldn't it be,
basically.
premeditated, whatever.
That's what I said.
You said something else.
I said it was premeditated after that. I was like, well, that's what it technically is. You're planning to kill someone, so that's what it is.
I
But
thought you said attempted murder or something. So
nope.
I just thought of a weird thing.
Oh,
Is it premeditated? Like, does it just count if you say I am planning to kill? Like what Kratos did. Like he is planning to kill them all, but he's not really planning. You know, like it didn't feel like there was a plan. It just felt
was
like
it's like
he
whoever
wants
came
to
across
kill
him.
them all, and yeah, like they're coming to find him, and so they were all killed. Is that premeditated? Does it? It requires planning, right?
No, that's just
If it's not
manslaughter.
planning, it doesn't count.
It's just manslaughter. Premeditated means you actually planned out the whole. Yeah, it's like, well, I mean, I guess technically he did plan. Like his plan just happened to be very simple. It's like wait for them to come to me, murder them, rinse and repeat until all deities are dead. So I mean,
So desire and motivation.
I think
are
that makes
enough.
it premeditated. Yeah, it doesn't have to be a complicated plan. Just has to be a plan. And in his case, it was
You
a
can't
very
be like,
simple.
yes, I want him dead. Yes, I wanted to kill him, but I did not think about how I would do it.
Then it doesn't
And
count
so-
as premeditated. It just counts as a crime of passion.
wait a minute. How
it
is
though?
it passion if?
Because you
It's
did
not
it out of
emotionally.
hate.
Oh,
And hate is a very powerful emotion.
Like the way you said,
a very
it made it sound like
passionate
he was just
emotion,
waiting
you would
for
say.
them to come across.
I mean, he basically was. Like, he was just kind of roaming around. He's like, well, eventually somebody's going to kind of try to stop me. And then when they do, murder. And rinse and repeat until everything is dead. And then, yeah, you had God of War 1 through 3. And also the side games. And then once he succeeded, he was like, well, moving on to the Norse mythology because I ran out of gods. So, gotta go murder another pantheon of people. Enjoy.
That's actually funny. There's like a character where like that is like his thing. When like I haven't played any of the God of Wars, but it's like I play this and I can just go in and be like, he killed an entire religion of gods.
And then it's like, and that wasn't enough to
Yeah, and it still wasn't enough.
satiate his bloodlust. He
done
was
yet.
like, well, who else has gods? Because I'm about to go murder them. I guess wherever the Norse people are from were the closest country. So,
Asgard?
well, no, Asgard is where they. Well, he didn't go to Asgard. He's like in Midgard or some nonsense. But either way, it's like he's like, well, guess it's time to move on, sail over the
Somewhere in the
seas.
Nine Realms. By the end, he'll be through all of them.
It's like, but I might die, so maybe I should sire a son to carry on my legacy. And it's like, so then he was like, hey, you, God lady, come have a baby with me real quick. She's like, okay, Kratos. And then Atreus was born. I'm assuming is how that went. They haven't really explained that yet, but I can only assume that's the whole,
Yes,
how that all went.
exactly how it went.
And she was like, all right, I'm okay with this plan. It's like, you're going to use our son to go commit a bunch of more deicide? That. So, enjoy. I mean, I prefer you not kill a bunch of people's religions, but, it's cool. It's cool. We all have our hobbies. Some less violent than others. But, you got to do what you got to do, I guess. And then that's how God of War 4 through 6 happened. It's going to be a fun time. But I'll talk about that when I get to my what you've been playing, I guess. Because murder.
Well, I'm done.
Oh.
I'm just now speculating on weird stuff.
No.
Or normal stuff, but with a weird spin.
This sounds
I'm
fun.
just in the corner trapped to Colleen. Continue.
Sounds about right. So then he has a theme song for his premeditation of whatever it is he's going through. He's Kratos sitting over there. But yeah, so I played Paragon and Monster Hunter as we have previously mentioned. And then I got to the final act of Trails of Cold Steel 2. So I'm like, yay! And it's at record time. Nowhere near the 90-hour mark. So good. Good job, me. So that means I might actually finish the game.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, because the screen came up and said final act. So that usually means
Never
that's
mind then.
the final act. So yeah, it tells you. It's a, by the way, this is definitely the end. So, be ready. Be ready for that end. And I was like, I'm ready. My body's been ready. For it. So yeah, all my characters are now at 110 and higher. And we just murdering a bunch of folk trying to end this war, ironically enough. But still, it's a fun time. I'm enjoying it. Hopefully, they making a localization announcement for what's it call it? The other one, Cold Steel 3. That one, the one that's the sequel. How did I forget the name of it? Not sure. But yeah, because that one's on PS4 though, so I have to figure out how that whole save thing's gonna work. But yeah, hopefully, let's see. So, and I'm almost finished with that one, so hopefully it's soon because it's already out in Japan. So they just need to localize it. But so yes, other than that, I've been playing God of War for the PS4, which came out last week, and I have been enjoying Dad Kratos, but he is not a good father. He is not a good father at all. So, I mean, it's not his fault. He's spent most of his years murdering people, so it really didn't give you a lot of practice being a dad or caring for people. So he understandably lacks compassion and all those things when dealing with his son, who he doesn't address by name. So it's fine. It's just like,
I am hungry.
like that's actually exactly what he does. It's just like it's kind of sad. It's like anytime he has to
food.
Because then he's like, there's even like there's one portion of the game where you have to like call for him, and like his entire call for him is like, boy, where are you? I'm like, I mean, like, you might want to try his name.
Press X to boy. Press square to boy.
Well, no, it says press square to Atreus, but he calls him boy, so there's that. It's like,
Did you watch the launch stream?
I didn't watch it.
God of War. It was really nice. It was like it was sort of a PlayStation blog presentation. So they did a bit of backstory and interviews and stuff like that. But also the entire studio was like, it looked like they were hanging out in the backyard and like waiting for 12 midnight on the East Coast, and then finally launching the game on PlayStation Store. And it was really cool. It felt really neat to sort of be part of their celebration. But there was a part of it where they talked about the Atreus' name, like the creative director, he was supposed to come up with a name, but then he procrastinated until E3 and didn't. And so the boy had no name. And he was just like, well, people are just going to call him Boy anyway, so it should be fine. And then they did the demo, and apparently, I remember reading this too, but I don't remember which outlet it was. But one of the outlets just made up a name for the boy.
What?
It was like, Kratos is a father now. His son's name is Charlie, and like everyone started calling the boy Charlie. And he was just like, well, I guess that's what you get for procrastinating.
What?
So they had to come up with a name later, but it was really funny.
That is just wow.
Anyway, side story over. That's not what I've been playing. I didn't play God of War.
That'd be a weird version of Willy Wonka. That who shows up.
And I enjoyed it so far. But there's a lot of it's very Zelda-y. If that makes sense to you.
So dungeons and exploration and combat.
Get a thing, and then you
And
can
keys that open
kill
doors.
the boss, and then go to the next boss and find a different thing.
Well, kind of. I mean, it's not exactly like it. There's just like elements of the whole exploration, and there's a lot of exploring and getting, I guess, different talismans and stuff and powers and everything. I guess similar to the previous God of Wars, except they don't. I guess it doesn't work the same way. But I haven't gotten too far, so I don't know exactly how some of these puzzles are going to be solved. But there's like a skill tree under Atreus's skill tree that says magic. So I'm guessing he learns magic.
Boy skills.
Under the boy skills. Yes, I think so. He learns. So yeah, there's, I guess, it's kind of like a spoilery interface in that regard. Because
I'm a boy. I mean, I'm a man.
It's funny because reasons, but yeah, so I mean, like under his, so it kind of like, I guess, spoils stuff that's gonna happen later, because it's like he also has like a rune thing that he can put on his bow that says like runic summons. So I'm guessing he's gonna be able to summon stuff too eventually. But it's like, well, I'm just waiting for this to happen. But yeah, they should probably have hidden that better and just had it just locked until it was time for him to like get it. But then again, he is the son of Kratos. Is still a god, right? How does that work? Because like I haven't played 3, and I know he like lost his powers in 2, and I think he like gained them back, I think, or something. And he has a very strange like thing going for him, and it's like, but then somebody you meet during the game is like, I know you're a god, and it's like, I don't know who you are, lady. I really don't know who you are. And it's like, well, so I guess he could still be, although then again, considering how unnaturally strong he is, he has to be at least like demigod, maybe, I guess, or something. I don't know. Like I said, I haven't played 3, so I don't know what actually happened beyond in between 2 and him having a son. So I'm assuming a lot, because that's kind of a large life event. But I'm not sure. I'm not sure. But he also lost his chaos blades during this apparently because now he's using an axe. Which oh my gosh, I enjoy this whole boomerang mechanic with the axe thing because you throw it and you can call it back to you, all like Thor-like, which is I guess fitting considering the setting. But actually, I wonder would you have to fight Thor in this game?
You're gonna
Because
kill
then it's
Thor?
I mean, you might
That's
have to.
Kratos' interaction with every god.
It's like, hi, my name is. It's like, well, let me take your head off. It's like, I don't. I just said hi. I know. So he
Boy.
does.
Show me where the gods are.
But it's funny though because like,
Why,
I guess
Daddy?
'cause he's told-
Why?
it's funny because he's told his son nothing about his past. So like, so anytime
Oh.
like.
No reason.
It's true. It's true though, because it's just like that. Because like he's told him zero about his past. So anytime something like happens that seems like unusual for him, it's just like oh, you know an awful lot about killing, don't you? It's like, boy, if you only knew. If you only knew. Because there was even like the most recent realm I got to because we just got to Alfheim, whatever the hell it's called, the Fairy Kingdom. And they're fighting or whatever, and then the kid and the dark elves and the light elves are fighting. And he's like, "Man, Dad, you know an awful lot about war." And I'm like, "Man, can you like, if only you know."
You like
If only you knew. Like he was the god of it at one point. But yeah, apparently he told his son zero about his life, so his son knows nothing about his lineage apparently either, because they still haven't said who his mom actually is, but considering she was able to wield the axe that Kratos was using, I'm assuming she had some type of magical power herself, so she may have been a god too, or a Norse one. But who knows? Who knows? Because they're really dancing around the subject, which I mean, I guess makes sense. It'll probably be like a big reveal later, where it's like, oh, your mother was so and so, and it's like, Legas, that's why you can read the runes, and that's why you have magical affinity because all of these things aligned, and then yeah,
And you can summon stuff.
also that.
Apparently.
It's like all of these things make sense now, but I mean, I guess Kratos is hiding it for a reason, or then again, he's just Kratos, so he's not very like sherry and cheerful and happy. So it's like, yeah, that's a fun time because it's like you're hiding all these things from your child, and people are out to kill you because you kind of murdered people. So it's like you probably should have shared that with your child because he's probably going to have to grow up knowing that he won't have a father soon. Because I'm assuming everybody's going to like eventually kill him because the opening I'm assuming that person you have a fight with at the beginning of the game was a god, was being the operative word because he did lose, but he put up a hell of a fight before he did. But then when Kratos was asking his son about gods, because I guess his Kratos or Atreus' mother told him I guess she's like the one who explained like all of the Norse mythologies and stuff to him because he does seem to know an awful lot about their mythology, but once again knows nothing about his father. So it's like he would always like come up with these explanations about random things and stuff that they come across, and then like Kratos asks him, he's like, "Do you know anything about a god that can't be hurt by things?" He's like, "Oh, Baldur? Yeah, that guy." Is like, "Oh, well, killed him." So so that's good to know. But yeah, so yeah, fun times are being had right now. I mean, that's actually the only god he's come across so far, which is, I guess, not is kind of surprising since he's been in hiding. I guess, like I said, they haven't really explained much in regards to what Kratos has been up to or why he's doing what he's doing or what's going on. So like I said, I haven't played 3, so maybe this stuff is explained before he decides to move on, but maybe they'll explain more stuff later. But yes, so basically the game is it takes place like after Kratos' baby mama died. So they're currently like on a quest to bury her ashes on a mountain by her request. and this causes like this whole journey to be had. Although it happened, I guess, sooner than rather than later, due to the stranger showing up on his doorstep and beating the actual crap out of him, which was actually kind of surprising because I didn't know who the guy was when he first started, and he was just like he comes to the house and he's all like all drunk, I'm assuming, because he's acting all weird. And then he's like, hey, come out and talk to me, as he was like knocking on the door. So then when Kratos comes out, he's like, hey, go away, man. And then the guy slaps him. And I was like, well, this is going to go well. Because like, because it's like, if there's one thing you don't do is like Kratos, he's like, this is going to go beautifully. So it's like, but he keeps antagonizing him too, because he's just like, hey, and he keeps like hitting him, and then Kratos is like, seriously, get away from my house, man. So he's like, hey, how you doing? So he slaps him again, and it's like, okay, you're gonna get murdered. You're so getting yourself murdered right now. So then it's like Kratos punches the guy, and then the guy's like, oh, that was nice, but then he like Falcon punches him like into the like across the yard thing, and is like, oh. That's not good, because I guess this guy has superpowers too. So he then proceeds to beat the crap out of Kratos, which is all kinds of fun. And then eventually, after like a multi-phase battle, because the boss battle is like I think like 4 or 5 different phases with him, and then eventually Kratos does come out on top, and after a very hard fought battle, and then they start their journey, and then. During this, you meet trolls and you run across shrines where Atreus is all like, hey, I learned about this because someone at least talks to me. And then Kratos is just like, whatever. And then he just keep on going. So he's like and it's weird because it's like, it's obvious that Kratos cares about him, but because there's like little moments where it's like Atreus will start crying and he goes to like he wants to pat him on the back to tell him it's okay, but then he like stops himself because it's Kratos. He's like, I don't want to pretend like I actually care. So then he's just like, so he'll kneel down beside him and like he moves his arm closer and then he'll stop and he's like,
I don't
and then
know how to touch anyone without killing.
Actually, that might actually be the case. It's like I love my child too much to murder him. So there's that. I mean, he treats this kid so poorly, but at the same time, it's like you could tell he actually cares about him, because he doesn't like anytime someone even goes like remotely near him, he'll like grab them and just give them like a death glare, like don't do what you're about to do, because I will murder everything you love. So it's like, okay, that's fine, but there's better ways, I guess, to use your words. So, but it's Kratos, so you know how that goes. But yeah, he's very still angry and Kratosy, but he does care about him. He has his own, I guess, tough lovey way, because I mean, in all fairness, with everyone out to kill Kratos, you kind of have to teach the kid how to, toughen up and stuff. But yeah, there are a few rage moments where he gets like full on angry dad and just like, no, I'm just gonna wreck everything. So he does care about him, and it's kind of like adorable in a very angry way. So yeah, it's interesting. It's interesting to see Kratos as a father, because he is not necessarily the most caring of fathers. But what can you do? What can you do when you've had to kill so many people in your career because of one slight? All because of one slight. Because he could have taken out his revenge just on Ares, but he was like, nope, killing all the Olympus gods because I'm pissed now. And he proceeded to do so. So yeah, there's that. But yeah, it's been nice. Been kind of fun. Enjoy the combat and stuff so far. I like that they look like they did their research with all the mythology stuff, because there's a lot of stuff in there. So should be a fun battle. Because I mean, it's a fun time, because I do love like mythology stuff, because I studied it in like college for like my elective classes. So it's so yeah, I'm enjoying it so far. But there's a lot of side stuff that I keep getting sidetracked up by, which is probably going to be the end of me, because I don't know, man. I don't know. When you give me too many things to do, I get sidetracked, and then the next thing you know, I don't finish the game. So we'll see. We shall see how that goes. But that's all I've been playing.
Okie dokie. Middle segment, time travel, time.
Time travel trilogy. Yes, we already talked about a thing and then another thing, and they all had to do with the past. What was the first thing?
What
Oh, it was
made
about the
you?
games that define you,
Yeah.
which apparently turned into a hashtag. I don't know. And then the second one was about will this be the greatest generation, looking back on the previous generations? And then today, this is inspired by something Tekken said last time. He talked about Mr. Mosquito, and like the label was Fresh Games. It was Ubisoft. Fresh Games, just weird Japanese games. Katamari, or Katamari was not part of it, but Katamari is a weird Japanesey game. So I was wondering, what what games are missing right now? Because we sort of brushed off, like we said, games are missing these days that the PS2 had that the PS4 doesn't, but there are indies. Except that we don't. Nobody probably knows all of the indies that are on PlayStation right now, but or just part of this generation. But yeah, I was wondering, what sort of games are we missing right now that should totally make a comeback?
No, definitely the dance rhythm music genre, because that's.
Really?
I mean, yeah, there's Rocksmith and yeah, there's Guitar Hero, but to me, it's like they only, in my opinion, like they only came back in like a one note thingy. It wasn't like a like they're not at the present that they're at before. Where it's like Guitar Hero Live, I guess, is a thing, but like back in the olden times, it was like a yearly thing. I don't know. It just feels like it wasn't rolled out like as well as it could have if it was going to be a games and service thing. I don't know what it is because I don't really play it anymore because obviously it's been done to death. So it's like whatever. But to me, DDR is like my jam, and like a DJ Hero, like that was like that was perfect. Like DJ Hero 2 is like just so amazing of a game, and then like the fact I'm never gonna get another one just like makes me super sad. And like DDR is like I would just love to have like another dance pad dancing game to play on my PlayStation. And then like Prappa, and then Amplitude came back, but just like to me, it's like there's not like I remember there just being like an abundance of those games, like just like a ton, like Res, Frequency, Amplitude, DDR, the Guitar Hero Rock Band, like we got all that stuff, like Taiko Drum Master, Donkey Konga to a lesser extent, and just like cool stuff like that. And like now, that just doesn't feel like that is the case where like you have series or franchises or like games like that have like either yearly iterations or just like that you're getting like something of that like once every year or something. And then I guess like another thing that's not accounted for would be or just like not at like the awesomeness that they were is like the like the arcade style sports games like SSX or I guess action sports whatever SSX like Tony Hawk, um, NBA Jam, or not NBA Jam, but like NBA. I can't remember NBA Street, like that.
Street.
Yeah, like stuff like that. I mean, yeah, there's like stuff like that, but it doesn't seem like it's. I don't know. It's just like because we had like that one game we talked about a couple weeks ago in RRR, where like the second one's coming out, but the first one was like a misfire, and it just seems like it was like gone for a very long time. Like he had that like NBA Jam on PS3 or whatever, but like it just doesn't seem like there's that many games like that come out on a minimum basis, or just or just like the SSX big brand, like that whole, like all those games, like the
Yeah.
like the Def
EA
Jam 5 for
Sports
New
big.
York, like all that stuff, like all those games were like really like a cool style, like a feel to them of the time, which just like they were like all fun too, and like stuff like that is just like gone. But I like in my opinion, like what I think like why that is the case is like if you just look at the consolidation of like AAA and like the way the business in the industry is now, it's like there's so few at the top, and like what they all make is very homogenous and like very super like focus tested, and like they want to like hit their margins on like the profit that they're making, so they're not gonna like the industry has become so risk averse from like all the games that like have fallen by the wayside, like the stuff we're talking about, that they only want to make the stuff that they know is going to make the money, so they don't really want to take risks and like make stuff that we had back in time that was like super out there and crazy and like awesome. But those are my two right now. I can probably think of more, but I'll let someone else talk. So let me think while I'm listening to you.
RPG.
I'm not really sure what the question is asking.
Wow. Oh man. And then like for the longest time, I always wanted there to be like a like rebirth per se of like the beat 'em up genre, and I thought Batman was gonna be that, but Batman's like a completely different thing. It's like it is like of that flavor, but it's not of the same like side scrolly go through areas and beat 'em up. I guess like maybe the bouncers are closer to this thing we have to that in like a 3D capacity, but we haven't really seen that like come back like at a rate where it's like there's a ton of games like that, because there's like the Double Dragon Neon, Double Dragon 4, but I always enjoyed those games growing up, so like the fact that they're like not there anymore just makes me sad too. I guess too, like even a lesser extent, like the 2D shooters, like the shmups, those are always fun. I mean, they're kind of I mean, I don't know if they're profitable, but I do always enjoy playing them every now and then. So it's another thing from the olden times that does not really exist, or there's not a lot of them out there.
Which one's the brawlers you say?
That those and the 2D shoot 'em ups. Yes, those.
Like a modern version.
Yeah.
Actually, now that I think about it, because there used to be, well, not even just the PS2 era, but like in the PS1 era, games like the, as a matter of fact, I think couch co-op games in general have kind of disappeared a lot from. I mean, I guess there's stuff on the internet, or there's stuff over the internet, but it's like a lot of games that used to be like benefit from having like coach or the couch co-op kind of stuff, like those type of brawlers. Like there's what was the game called? I'm playing on the PlayStation. It's like called Fighting Force or something like that. And there's like in games like that kind of or you'd have like the little co-op with your team and everything, and they'd be going through and just beating the crap out of people, and everybody has like their own fighting style and whatnot. And then but yeah, I think in general, a lot of stuff like that has disappeared. I mean, you are starting to see some things kind of, I guess, kind of come back into that, because I think A Way Out is a co-op game or something, or requires co-op or something like that. I'm not sure. I haven't played it, so I don't know. But yeah, it's like you don't see a lot of games like that anymore, because even like the party games stuff have kind of like slowly started disappearing as well. And it's like, especially now that certain things become more saturated now, it's like you have a bunch of different battle royale games, and you have your different shooters, and it's like you have like if something becomes popular, then everything else kind of like starts to slowly fall to the wayside, even though there's like they will come out, but then it's just like because like before like the whole Souls series was a thing, it's like now everything is like the Dark Souls of whatever genre it is whenever they create stuff now. So it's like whenever something becomes popular, then everybody kind of like jumps on that, and then everything else kind of just starts to slowly like fade into non-existence until somebody feels like we're overdue for one of these, so let's have one. But I think in general, I mean, I think that's kind of what makes indies, I guess, so important, is because those developers are more okay with like doing weird stuff. Because like the game I played, the Zodiac one, that one with the whole dice and cards combination thing going on and all that stuff, is like it's not something you would see like in a AAA title or quote unquote AAA title currently, because it might be too risky to do something like that, because no one would play your game. So, and it's like, I don't know, it's weird, because, and that's what makes it even stranger, because like games that are crowdfunded or whatever, it's like, or crowd whatever, it's like obviously people want these types of things, otherwise they wouldn't be, it's like, otherwise it wouldn't exist. But I mean, otherwise people would be trying to fund it, but it's like, I guess it's still too risky in a sense, because it's not like, even though some people do want it, it's not like billions of people want it, and that's where our money range is. So it's like I guess that makes sense, but it's like at the same time, it's like, well, if people are going to take fewer risk, it's going to eventually everything is going to kind of turn into the same thing. Which I
I
mean,
think it's kind of already happening actually. if there's so many open world games, it's
Yeah,
like
there really are a lot of
it's
open world
getting
games.
ridiculous on open world.
It's like every time you turn around, everything is like, you. This is also open world. It's just a different setting and different characters, but at the end of the day, it's all the same thing. And even like sequels are becoming more and more numerous now. I mean, which is, I guess, okay in some regards for some people, because like some they will do like different things with some sequels, but then the ones that are basically just the same game, it's kind of just like, well, we could have done without this sequel, Assassin's Creed. But it's like the ones that do different things. That's how it's like for stuff like that, you just skip every other one and just kind of play them when they do anything major kind of situation, because a lot of the games are very similar to each other. And then it's kind of just like, well, why? Because it's safe. Because it's safe.
Money, yeah, boy. Money.
It's weird because like sequels aren't necessarily safe, and yet that's what they do. Like it used to be, I feel like the business used to be, well, we can't, these guys are making a killing on this type of game. We can't do that because they have, they have the market. Whereas now it feels more like every time you see a market, it's like, well, we could do that, but better, right? And then that's what they go for. Or slightly different. We can do that, but slightly different. And then, it's just like that's a strange mentality.
Yeah.
I mean, for indies, it really is. Like, if you try to do the same thing as the AAA guys, then you will almost undoubtedly come out with a inferior, in some way, product. And then it's like,
the team or the budget.
It's like, we don't have that kind of money.
Yeah. Unless you get like a large publisher backing you or something, in which case then it's like, go crazy. But how often does that happen? So, although I think that's I think that might be the reason why some publishers or developers are kind of releasing like these side studios kind of thing, like Square Enix with the Tokyo RPG Factory thing, to kind of like bring back things that have kind of like disappeared. Because I mean, I guess like a lot of people do like those nostalgic type things, and or just like something that's like nostalgic but kind of has like a twist to it, kind of like how Octopath Traveler, that game that I am having trouble pronouncing for some reason, is kind of like, it has like kind of like an old school look to it, but currently there's but they have like really updated battles and all this other nonsense that they have going on. But it's like, so they keep it, it's like keeping it modern to keep it so people are still appealed to it, but still have kind of like that feel where it's like, I remember this from the olden days when we used to play these things in the wee hours of the morning and feel like, I don't know, happiness and things. But but that kind of thing, basically. So it's like, so yeah, I think because I have seen some like news stories over the past year or so about people opening up like little side studios and stuff, or other projects, but it's like kind of like the main studio will still be doing their thing, where we're just like, well, we want to take risks, but we want to take that many risks, so we'll let these guys kind of do their thing, and if it goes well, then good, we win. If it doesn't, we lose nothing, because they're a side studio anyway, so it's cool. So those kinds of things. But I guess like as the risks kind of increase when it comes to like these deadlines and budgets and stuff, people are just like, nah, we gotta do stuff. We gotta do stuff that we know would work. So stuff start disappearing, I guess. And it doesn't get weird like it used to. And then you lose a lot more ambitious projects like the Xenosaga series, which could have been awesome, but then they're like, you're trying to do too much. Cut it in half. It's like, and then do it with less money. Well, this is fine. This is fine. So So yeah.
There was a game on PS2 and GameCube and Xbox called Hunter the Reckoning.
Oh yeah, I remember that. It's 4-player co-op.
I wish there was another one of that. And maybe it was the co-op. I actually there are other games like that, but none of them are. I don't know. None of them grabbed me the way that that one did.
Do they make games like Manhunt anymore?
Like just highly controversial for.
Well, I meant like sneaking around and murdering folks for a reality TV show. That oddly specific genre of things. That.
I I think I think the answer is no.
Ah,
Wait, did you play Manhunt?
I sure did not, but I'm assuming
Tekken,
that's
did you play Manhunt?
I haven't, but I think I have it on PS4, on PS2 if it's on there.
Uh-huh. Yeah, it is. Or is it? I don't know. There was a sequel, right? There was
Yeah,
Manhunt 2?
there
Yeah.
was
I have no idea what that game was
hunting
about,
more men.
actually.
It was about hunting men. I mean, the purest sport. The purest sport. Or the most dangerous sport. However
Yes.
that works.
The
That.
purest sport is hunting men. It's not football?
Nope. Definitely hunting men.
I think maybe some like other stuff that would be like gone and forgotten stuff would maybe be like, I mean, I guess to like a lesser extent because we still get them now with like VR and like stuff as like light gun games because or like it like or
Oh,
like
yeah.
specifically like light gun and then like anything that would be like a throwback to like arcade games since arcades don't exist anymore. So it's like
Oh, yeah, they
arcade ports of
don't.
like
They kinda
racing
died.
games and stuff like that, or like whatever was big at the arcades that would like get ported. But then that's like fighting games, so we still have.
Yeah.
I mean, fighting games
But
are
also,
I would
like-
say not as big as they were, but we still do get fighting games. So.
They had a lot of co-op
Actually-
games in arcades too, though.
Yeah.
'Cause
Oh, yeah, I was thinking it's like of games like I was just talking about like the beat 'em ups. Is like there was this game called Dynamite Cop that was like a Sega one that was pretty cool, and then like Die Hard the Arcade that was an awesome beat 'em up game. I love that one. Those were like two really good ones in like Dreamcast era arcade games.
So, I mean, this is sort of related to time travel blast from the past. I was at an arcade that just opened in town last Thursday,
What?
and it was packed.
Double
Like,
what?
it's a Dave and Buster's,
Oh,
but it was
well.
like there was a ton of people there, and I was like, this isn't how it's supposed to be. There's supposed to be no one here because like you can play all these games at home or whatever.
But they're not the same, Tropical. A, they're not the same, and B, they're probably like not the games that are in there. It's like you get some like I mean all the games now are not arcade ports because arcades don't exist. So you just get like the AAA mainstream garbage fest unless you're like I mean depending on like what you like because you know and then
no one beats the blob.
Well, so it was really funny. Like,
yeah, it's like vintage
they're
arcade
advertising on the
versions.
radio, and the radio ad is something like, "Oh, play the latest games like Space Invaders."
What?
I was like, what?"
It's like, this is not
Turns out they
1980.
actually do have a new Space Invaders.
What?
It's really cool. It's like
Is it a Jumbo game?
it's like a light gun type, where there's like a machine gun thing that you hold, and then it's a giant screen, and instead of like you are 2D on the screen with the aliens, you're actually out in the 3D world pointing your machine gun thing at the screen.
Huh.
It's like a light gun version. I was like, this is kind of neat, actually. But yeah, I was like, it made me question the conventional wisdom on arcades. It's like, can arcades no longer be a thing?
Well, actually,
Because
now that you mentioned that, there was an arcade that opened here, but it's all vintage stuff. It's not like anything new. I don't think it's anything new. I think it's like mostly old stuff. But I haven't been there because it's only open on my days when I'm working, so I haven't had a chance to go. But I think Spivey Rat posted about it on Facebook. So Yeah.
Like from what I saw, it was a few vintage things. Then there were the like later Time Crisis games, like 4 and 5 were there. They had the big uh light gun games that you ride inside of, so
Those
like
are
Jurassic
fun.
Park.
Those are fun.
And they have actually a Luigi's Mansion that they made
What?
for arcades,
Ooh.
which is like you're holding this sort of vacuum cleaner looking light gun, and then there's two
Oh
buttons on
wait,
it,
wait,
and
wait,
one of
wait.
them is
Is
like a
that
flashlight.
okay? Is it a legit Luigi's Mansion or is it like a Lycan game that's
Yeah,
like Luigi's
it's
Mansion?
Luigi's Mansion.
Okay, because there was like this like
Well,
like
it's
are you gonna say Tropical?
it's it is like the 3DS
No.
version, sort of,
'Cause I was gonna say
but
like back in
in the
it
arcade.
was like a
In
long,
Japan.
long time ago in Wee Little Tickens world. When you went to Chuck E. Cheese's, there was like this ghost like gun game where you got to like shoot ghosts or something, but it was like a weird projection screen, so it was like very 3D effect. It's pretty cool.
Uh,
Rated on Ghost.
Wait, and it was Luigi's Mansion?
No,
Like
it's just
Luigi was
no.
in
It
it?
wasn't. It wasn't.
Okay.
It was just like ghosts, but like it had like it was like
I don't
weird because
think
like
that
the
existed
background
when I was
was
a kid.
like it was like miniatures of like a building, and it would like animate with like all the furniture moving and stuff, and like when the ghost would like go around it and stuff. It was pretty cool. But
Uh,
yeah, I don't remember. What it's
no,
called.
this one is legit like Luigi's Mansion that you sit inside.
Huh.
Like Nintendo.
Yeah,
Yes,
Nintendo
let's do
Luigi.
this.
There was actually a lot of Nintendo games. It was like Luigi's Mansion was there.
Was there
They had
Mario?
Mario and Sonic at the Olympic Games
What?
with like a big like pad that you run on top of, and there's like these giant joysticks that you rotate to do uh not the javelin, the one with the ball on the chain.
Shot put. Or the mace
No.
throw. Because I don't know what that is.
I think it's called the hammer throw,
Yeah, it's a
actually.
hammer throw.
It is a
Yeah.
hammer throw. But I like mine better.
Maze throw.
Mace throw. There's people standing out there, and you got to hit one of them.
It's like, I don't know if this is safe. It's
Like
fine.
archery, but with a mace.
So nothing like archery? Because
Actually, it's funny that you mentioned Tropical because I just watched a
epic
YouTube
flail.
video of something something in Japan. I don't remember the channel, but it was basically about retro arcade centers in Japan, and they did like all these arcade cabinets that were like there that people go in and play. But like it's not the young people; it's like old people. So that's funny. That's funny. And then like one of them is like I played this once in like the mall when they had it, and my mall was like called Tokyo Wars or something, and like you're in a tank, and it's got like it actually moves and or it doesn't move, but like when you fire it like vibrates. It's super cool, and it's like oh man, I remember that one. That was my favorite ones back in the day, and just it's co-op or it's like 2-2 or 4v4 or 2v2.
I
It's
remember
pretty
stuff
cool.
like those. Like similar to like the Jurassic Park ones.
It was pretty awesome.
I wonder if like this is the time for arcades to make like a short comeback. Or so what I was saying earlier, vintage games, new arcade games, and then there's like a weird trend of like giant versions of mobile games. So it'd be like Candy Crush,
You.
but on a 60-inch screen
Well, you.
that is upright, like a portrait 60-inch TV touchscreen that you play Candy Crush on, and those were really weird to me because, especially the one I saw was Candy Crush, and they also had Ultimate Spider-Man, which is also a free-to-play mobile game. And I was like, this is weird, right? Because I could stand right here in front of this machine that charges me money to play and like download it on my
Play
phone
The free one.
and then play it infinitely forever. I was like, why would anyone do this? And I guess the answer is prizes. They're like the mobile games incentivize you. The big mobile games incentivize you with like tickets, basically,
I was about
that
to say, are
you
they the
can
new
redeem.
ticket machines?
Yeah. I was like, oh, that's kind of cool actually, because before, like, the cool one was Angry Birds. So Angry Birds,
Tropical.
you would think,
That
it's just like
sentence hurts me.
you swipe the screen, but it wasn't. They actually had built like this big catapult controller that you hold, and then when you launch the birds, it actually like shoots a ball at the screen and like hits the screen. And so there's like physical elements as well. Like this is kind of neat. I mean, I'm not going to sit here and play this, but like I appreciate the effort that they've put in to make it not just Angry Birds in the arcade. But yeah, it was weird seeing how many people were there. Like usually you'd think, oh, they're here for the sports bar part because they're over there drinking, or they're in the restaurant. Well, less so that because their food is not good. But
Ah,
the arcade part was just like packed and insane. And it made me think, is like, yeah, this the time? Because one thing that we didn't have in the 90s was all of the kids who loved arcades and wish that they would be back. Those kids, us, we did not have the money, and now we're sort of like, well, we have all the games
we're
at home, and
adults
they're kind of
now.
becoming same-ish, and we have the money, so we want to go out there and play sort of different stuff in a public place with a bunch of other people.
Strangers. Yes. Yes.
I don't think this applies to me, but continue.
Of course
It's like
it
a
does.
nostalgia thing.
Stranger
You know,
danger, stranger.
You like a
danger.
little stranger danger. It's exciting. It's like you never know when you're gonna get kidnapped.
Stranger danger.
Never know when you're going to get kidnapped.
I mean, the only thing that would be good for me would be the practicing of the line. So, do you play video games?
Do you like video games?
Or I can see you play video games.
Like, obviously, I'm in an arcade.
My arcade machine. What? No.
I got next. I got next, man. I told someone about Tekken's pickup line. Just wanna point that out.
Sad.
I was like, this guy. He's like, do you like video games? He's like, well, obviously, because if you're asking somebody that's playing a video game, obviously they like video games. But it's like, that's kind of, but teach his own, man. Teach his own. Teach his own. So, fun times.
So, is there a second question there, Chowder, as far as like, can arcades come back or something?
Sure. Do you think arcades
Can arcades come back? That would be interesting because
I kind of feel like they can for a little while. Even as this, like, and I'm not talking about sort of the vintage arcade bars because those have been around for a while. I'm talking about like big, arcades sort of in the way that we remember them. Like this felt remarkably like back in the
I honestly
day.
think they could just because the experience is so much different, and like from like what you get on console now, and like the games are different.
Yeah.
It's just
'Cause,
a
I
different
mean-
experience.
yeah, it used to be cool to like go to these things and it's just like a butt ton of people, just everybody like lined up and playing the various games in there, and then you're just like slapping coins down on the counter like, yeah, let's do this, and then it's all kinds of shenanigans and stuff going on. But it was a fun time. I used to remember always like me and my little brother used to always beg my mom to like let us go to like Grand Prix Racerama was the big one back home before they like died, and then it's like, man, those were good times, man. Those were good times. Then it turned into Boomers, and then it got dead, and then Dave and Buster's was a thing, but they had to add a restaurant because they were like, well, no one's gonna come here to play games, so you might as well have food too.
Like I've been to 3 arcades recently, or 3 arcade trips, and there's also the trick of now, like instead of putting in coins and you sort of realize how many coins you're putting in, it's like money cards.
Yeah,
and
money
so
cards.
the amounts are all very strange and difficult to calculate quickly, so you don't know necessarily how much money you're using.
See, to me, it's like I think
like-
there could be like a resurgence, like if you just did like some sort of like Netflix or Movie Pass style, like play as much as you want. You just have like this monthly fee, or you have like a thingy that like you're talking about now. Like you just have like a card you put money on, and then you just beep, blop, blop, and here's your credits or whatever. Go play.
Actually, I went to an arcade when I was out in Portland, and it was like very retro arcade. And I realized I was like, man, these things are money sucks because went through so many quarters, and I'm just like, this is what I don't like about arcades. But then, it's fun to kind of like have like that, that retro fun time playing games that are technically winnable, but aren't because the system cheats.
The original get good because otherwise we'll take all your money, all of it.
Yeah, yeah. No one beats the Blob.
Now I'm gonna have to like research into like making a startup, and like maybe I won't have to leave, and I could just like make an arcade, and then like put all the money I saved into moving to Canada into an arcade, and we're gonna finance it somehow and experiment and be like, yeah, I put all my eggs in one basket. Let's see if it works. Woo! If not, whatever. At least I tried.
It
Yeah.
would be super cool. Yeah, like I stood around as like Dave and Buster's like, well, I mean, they probably make a bunch of money on their food and drinks and the arcade part is just sort of
There.
there. Although, there so one of the arcades I went to was really expensive and I did not notice at all while we were playing. Or it wasn't mostly me playing, so otherwise I may have been used more
Aware.
judgment choosing the games. Because like the like crane game, not even like licensed plushies inside, and it was like one play was $3, and I did not even notice because it was the card thing. And then later I was thinking about it, it's like, oh, actually, yeah, that's like $3. That's crazy. we spent a ton on crane game. And no wonder we had no more left like so quickly.
See, that's like the other funny thing is like since like arcades have like not used that system or like if you're like not used to that style of like a quarter per play or like however many quarters per play on like the really popular stuff, it's like you don't really like know
Yeah.
what you're getting into as far as like when you're spending money to play stuff. So it's like on the one hand, if you have knowledge of all that stuff, you're like, well, if I can just set these prices and nobody says anything, I can make a killing. And then, if not, I'll just make it a quarter and everything, whatever. Or 25 cents a play, whatever.
Yeah, I would love to see more arcades like this. And I think as a nostalgia thing and for the kids who now have money, I think it could totally work.
Well, their parents have money.
Well, no, it's like the parents were the kids. Like they have the nostalgia. Kids don't have nostalgia.
They might.
They've never known another world. They have never known the world with arcades.
That's true. Oh my gosh. Kids today don't even know what an arcade is. They haven't lived.
They're getting to see them sort of. I mean, if they're all like this, and I know that they're not, because I've been to another Dave and Buster's and it was like bad. But yeah, this one, it's like, yeah, if there's more arcades like this, like kids are gonna come to these, and then there's gonna be like a second arcade crash, I guess, and then later when nostalgia comes for those kids, then they can make arcades again for a little while.
They're like, remember when this used to be a thing? I do. Let's bring it back. It's like, what made us ever get rid of them in the first place? And then they'll go to the cycle again and be like, oh, this made us get rid of them.
See, all I'm thinking in my brain is how I could like just monetize it to like make a ton of money and just like on like the money cards and like the monthly fees. I'm like, how can I make a killing off of this? There's got to be a way to it. There's got to be a way.
You are the worst person.
Just like finance that to like get better cabinets, and then once I have the really good cabinets, just like make them really expensive, and then yeah, and just oh man, I gotta start brainstorming this, man. Tropical, this is great. This is great. It might work out or not. Whatever.
Watch after this podcast, like arcades are gonna have a resurgence, and it's gonna be like, wait, what's going on here? What's going on here, guys?
We're amazing.
It's Like we really have to start like copywriting or something. Although that would be fun to be like see some weird new arcade game stuff,
I know.
especially from like the console publishers and stuff. That'd be interesting.
Man, that would be awesome. Cause like yeah, like since arcades died, and like I remember trying to tell that one story about like the Star Wars game or whatever, but like the technology you have now and like the arcade machines that you could make would be so amazing. And like with VR, since it like came back as well, it's like the new VR stuff. Oh, that view. Oh, I'm sorry. Okay.
Oh
I need
dear.
to stop talking about my confidential
It would be really neat too, because
ideas. I'm brainstorming right
you
now.
know how kids today like watch a lot of Twitch and watch a lot of people playing games, and you can do that. Like arcades could be marketed as you can do that, but for real. Like you can be in the audience.
Have you ever wanted to have someone have people crowd around you and you be the hero of the stream? Well, you could do it in real life. Come down to Tegan's Arcade. Open 9 to 5, Monday through Friday.
Stop it.
25 cents a play.
You're not going to be open on the weekends?
I'm trying to cool because I can. Oh wait, and
'Cause that's-
kids are.
I was about to say kids have school and stuff.
That's, curses. Open 7 days a week, whatever. F it. Money, dear boy, money.
Money. If anything, you can be closed on like Mondays and Tuesdays when everybody's like busy lamenting the fact that they have a case of the Mondays and Tuesday just because it's the next day after. But the weekends are definitely your golden hours because it's like, away.
Cool.
Everybody's off from school and stuff. So I guess that's a thing that went away too. Arcades.
Coming back. Yeah, it also feels like, a lot of these, like Katamari, someone could make a Katamari type, funky type of game like that, right?
Sure.
Yeah. This is the time of resurgence, says. Let's do it. Or maybe not us. I mean, Tekken, yeah, I totally support your arcade. But, yeah. So now I gotta do news.
That's
All
how this
right. Well,
works.
we were talking about Battle Royale stuff earlier, and Battle Royale this was only the beginning. It's weird. Like Borderlands was really big in the day, right? And then
we talked
nobody
about,
copied
I
it.
mean, I don't think we talked about it, but I did say something about like the year or your beginning podcast. I was like, it's totally gonna be like a thing where like, or I said something about like I'm already sick of it, and then like it's gonna be copycatted to death. So I saw it coming a mile away, but here we go, I guess.
Yep, here we go. So the reports coming out of Call of Duty Black Ops 4 is that it will not have a single player campaign.
It's going to have a battle royale mode instead.
Yeah, they said they're working on like multiplayer experiences. So obviously the regular multiplayer, which is the bread and butter of Call of Duty, zombie mode, which has been just extremely popular, and then a third thing, which reports suggest is a battle royale mode for Call of Duty. So that was the first thing we heard. It's like, oh wow, Call of Duty's gonna have this battle royale mode. And then there was a report that came out that said Battlefield 5, the developers are feeling good that there is no single player for Call of Duty. They're like, well, we have one, so here we go. Woohoo! But then there was a report. Part of that report was they are also working on a battle royale mode, although theirs is not even greenlit yet.
Oh dear.
And so it wouldn't make it to launch, but like that is something that they're also working on. So it's like, well, here we go. And in addition to that, today, Daybreak Studios, former Sony Online Entertainment, announced that
They too are
H1Z1,
making a battle royale mode.
H1Z1, arguably the original Battle Royale mode, is coming to PlayStation May 22nd as an open beta. So the story behind that was H1Z1 was
Isn't it like a
like a
survival?
zombie survival type
Was
thing,
that
right?
DayZ? Was it the
Uh,
mod for Arma?
no, DayZ was the mod. H1Z1 was like the attempt to make that H1 DayZ, but not a mod,
Okay.
like an actual something else.
Why exactly are these type of games popular?
Which one? Battle Royale?
Yeah.
I think it's just like
I couldn't tell you, dude.
I don't know. I think it's because they have more depth than Call of Duty, but it's also sort of Call of Duty-ish in that you shoot people, and so the people who liked Call of Duty they're like finding something in H1 or in Battle Royale games that is like more than what they were getting from Call of Duty, and so they've moved over.
Oh, actually, I had an epiphany about this. Actually, I was thinking about this very, very deeply one day because I was like, "What is the secret sauce of the battle royale? Like, why everybody loves it?" 'Cause I think what happened was like, well, to a lesser extent, because like you had deathmatch like. I was thinking about this when I was doing my 4 games or whatever for that hashtag that was copying us.
Uh-huh.
And then I was like looking at like, how did I get here with like the games I play, and I like went to like the beginning of like all the first person stuff, and I was like Quake, and I was like, oh, that had deathmatch mode, that had team deathmatch, it even had co-op, and I was like, wait a minute. So I started thinking, and I was like, I think what it is, I think at least on console, is like there was never an equivalent of a game except for like maybe like Tribes or something, or maybe like Unreal Tournament, but like not to the extent that it is now, where you had like a ton of people in like one game type playing each other. Where like it wasn't just, I mean, except for like maybe Battlefield 2, but it's not.
There was Mag. That's about it.
That's like an exception RPG because that's like one game. But like I think that there like at one point there was like this arms race because there was like a Mag, there was like some other game I think on Xbox, the Duke era called I can't remember what it's called. It was some sort of like Delta Force or something whatever, where you have like a ton of people playing. I think like that is like one of the things that draws people to it. It's just like you have a ton of people. If it's like 100 person battle royale, so it's just like insane. Whereas like in the olden times on PC, you could at least have like 64 people playing in like a Unreal Tournament, deathmatch, blah blah blah, whatever. So it's like I think that's like one element is like the sheer amount of people, and then I think from there I think it's just like the game type, because it's not the die respawn, die respawn, die respawn. It's a different mechanic of like you get the like you only live once mechanic, like in something similar to like a SOCOM or like the search and destroy modes, where it's like you can only die once when you're disarming the bomb or whatever. So it makes it just makes it that much more appealing, I guess, because you have to like not die and or like kill or be killed, and like you only get one life, and it's not. I guess I don't know. I don't know why people find that appealing, but I think like. But like,
YOLO mode.
yeah, but like back in the day when I did play Zocom and stuff, it was like very exhilarating. Yeah, that's what it was. Like when you like would be the only one left alive, or like your team would like slowly die off, and like or you're slowly killing the team off, and like you have like these crazy like swing victories of like it's like a 3v1. It's like, can they pull it out, or like these clutch moments of like who's gonna win? Is it like it's like, can they come back from this? There's no way, and like they pull it out somehow. But it just like you always have that. Like who's it's like down to the wire. Could or like it's like someone disarmed the bomb, blue wire, red wire. Oh, it's like it just, I guess it just has like that the tension there to like make it just super palpable all the time. But that was like my takeaways when I was like thinking about it very deeply in my how did I get here? Oh yeah, that game has a that person mini mode. Oh, maybe that's why people like Battle Royale. Oh, let me think about this. And I just remembered it when you're talking about that. So yeah, because you're like, oh, what's so big about Battle Royale mode? But that might be one of them. But
Yeah.
also, I think another thing is
That
like,
makes sense.
the whole like free to play, so you don't have to pay for it. So there's that. So obviously,
Yeah.
so I think now, like with the line in the sand drawn, as far as like AAA on one side and free to play on the other, it's like now you can finally see, like is there really an argument to make, like, oh, we have all these resources and blah 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 of this game that we're making year after year after year, and it's so awesome. Like, will people just flock to it, or will it be the same thing of like, oh, it's free. I don't really care. So free to play, whatever. So I'm super interested to see how that goes.
I know, $60 battle royale or the free one that we have been playing
And
this entire
that's really,
time.
and that's really the crazy thing. It's like $60 for a game with no story mode. What? Get the f out of here! Like, you're out of your mind. Like that's got to be the last straw of like someone like going to buy a game of like there's no. For me anyway, like I would never buy a game with like no story mode in it. So it's like just. And I've been year after year after year like no co-op, no zone. Like it's PvP, go for yourself. So I'm like off the PvP train. So it's like I'm very interested to see how this all plays out.
So yeah, getting back to H1Z1, it was a zombie survival game. Then they split it into two games after they added this mode that was basically battle royale-ish that everyone thought, well, this is really fun. And they decided, oh, we'll split that into a different game. So it was H1Z1 Just Survive and H1Z1 King of the Hill. And then they took off H1Z1 on the survival side, and it just became Just Survive. And then King of the Hill, they eliminated that part, and it became H1Z1. So this game has been out for PC for a while, but they're like doing a lot of stuff to change it up to compete with the current crop of battle royale games on consoles. So they're like speeding it up. They're simplifying the loot stuff. Crafting got thrown out. Yeah, just the stuff that people like on consoles, I guess. Then I also read that there was another one called Darwin Project, also a battle royale game, but sort of different. And then I guess like Dying Light is also getting something like that, except it's going to be more sort of PvE stuff as well. So yeah, it's they're coming. I don't know what's going to happen. Usually, like, Call of Duty, when its multiplayer became what it was, and I guess is, a lot of people tried to do the same thing. But it was always like Call of Duty, right? Like, none of the other ones really took over. I don't see how these guys are thinking, yeah, once we release ours, obviously they're going to jump to ours. Why would they keep playing the most popular game in the world right now when they could jump to the new one that they know nothing about?
I think the problem with Call of Duty as well is that Black Ops 3 was that like one of the ones with like wall running and jetpacks and all that crap?
Maybe. I do not recall. They sort of blend together.
Because I think I don't know if it was the Infinite Warfare or whatever the space fight one that's not Destiny is called. It just turned off a lot of casual fans as far as like, well, I don't want this in my Call of Duty, blah blah blah. So it's like depending on the setting, you have a very different reaction to Call of Duty. So it's like, I'm not sure. So. But this is Treyarch, so it's like that's like the best Call of Duty team. So it's like, if anybody can do it, they can do it. But it's it's depending on like it's very dependent on like which Call of Duty it is.
Yeah.
Or like what they do to like anger or make happy the people that play it all the time. Like, oh well, this isn't in the game anymore. What's up with these perks or these weapons or blah blah blah. So, guess we'll see. Also, if the rumors are true about the Modern Warfare 2 and like no multiplayer in the remaster, I am going to rage and just whatever, man. Just I would have bought it too, because the world needs now is more total power. That's all I'm gonna say. What the world needs now is more total power, and I would have been having my total power, trying to go to bed and having his total power. We'd have total power together, and then just it'd have been magical. And they took it away from us because they're a-holes. It's like they left themselves. It's like, nope, we're gonna give it battle royale, battle royale. Oh, that's what we get, of course. Of course. Whatever.
Yes, whatever. And then finally, Battle Royale, Housemarque, the guys who made Super Stardust and like Alienation and Nex Machina and all those like arcadey shooters. Remember, they sort of left that genre because they weren't making money, and they're like, I guess this sort of devotion to these sort of new versions of old arcade games is not working out for us, so we're going to go do different stuff. And they released a teaser for something they're calling Storm Divers. And in an interview with Eurogamer, apparently it is a battle royale game. We don't know anything else about it. That's all we know. It's like, okay, so that's happening as well. What was next? Oh, the Netherlands has ruled that some loot boxes are actually gambling, and so developers are like, they got to change them. And apparently, they came to this conclusion. They looked at 10 games, and then found that 4 of them had loot boxes that were basically gambling. Those games were FIFA, Dota 2, PUBG, and Rocket League.
Mm.
And so they're requesting that developers sort of fix or tone down or to remove addiction-sensitive elements in their games.
Oh my.
Things like in Paragon, how when you're opening the crate, you get to stop the sort of roulette when it lands on the prize you want. Like that's a no because it has this sort of almost winning feel to it. So every time you almost win something, there's 2 types of people. There's those ones that will quit, and there's the ones that are like, oh, so close, I gotta try again.
Close, I have to do it. Yeah.
So you're gonna be some sort of like dopamine hit test or something? What the
Yeah, it's like that's bad. So not allowed to do that. There's a lot of games that sort of have these like really exciting animations for opening the loot crates. Like, well, that's a no as well. And then also games that allow you to rapidly open lots and lots of loot crates in quick succession. That's bad as well. So we don't really know what's going to happen here, but I mean, another thing they could do is just like get a gambling license from the Netherlands, and then they don't have to change the game.
Wow, this seems excessive.
Yeah. Pretty crazy.
Or just take out
on that
loot
front,
boxes altogether.
yeah, they could do that too. On that front, Battlefront 2's microtransactions are back. It is cosmetic stuff now, so you can get like the Last Jedi Kylo Ren with his I don't think his shirt off, his helmet off.
Waist high pants. Put something on. Nope, not gonna do it.
Funny. There was some report about the Switch being hacked.
I see.
A homebrew on the Switch because it uses a Tegra X1 chip, and there's some vulnerability, very technical stuff that's on that chip, and so this vulnerability cannot be patched out. They got to change something else, and so all Switches are potentially hackable now. And the story is always the same. Oh, is it going to be all piracy now? Is it going to be really bad? And yeah, lots of stuff. Today, Bungie did their Destiny Warmind stream. I guess there's going to be a new Court of Warwick. But instead of 2 waves,
and I was just like, whatever,
7.
Dude. I was just like, whatever, dude.
There will be exclusive rewards from this thing.
What does that even mean? What does that even mean?
Protocol.
Guess that means certain weapons and armor can only come from there.
So, like in one, judging from their history, one new set per class.
Or like or to be like exclusive shaders or something like that.
Yeah,
they really haven't done it that way because they need to be able to sell their shaders.
Nothing awesome, nothing worth value, and nothing that's worth getting. There you go. You're welcome. I did the work for you, internet. Don't bother with it. Because, all the guns in the game are the same anyway, so F them. All the armor's the same, F it. The game is garbage anyway, so don't play it. Sorry, couldn't help myself. They know what they did. They know what they did.
The story stuff is apparently about the war mine rescue
Sorry.
on Mars in the ice caps. So instead of the red desert, it will be the white snowy desert.
And there's Hive.
Seems legit.
Just hanging out in the ice. I'm like, hey, let's go to the ice.
Instead of red desert, it's the white tundra, which is a frozen desert.
It is. He's right.
There's going to be ranked and casual play now for competitive. And they'll have some sort of progression in each one. And there'll be like one exclusive weapon or something to PvP. They're revamping a lot of exotic stuff. Suros Regime, I guess, is going to be back in the game.
Oh my gosh, game of the year.
Was that Zaphro's gun in
That was
Destiny 1?
That was year one Destiny Zaphro's gun because there was like no
Okay.
rifle out that was as good as it. I think he also used wow, I can't think of it. Monte Carlo, but it was originally Suros.
Yeah. So, yay, I guess. I don't know. I didn't watch the stream. This is just what I've heard.
I just read Gamer's tweet and I was like, psh,
I think
whatever,
Gamer
dude.
did.
Thanks for taking
Gamer
that
loves
bullet,
Destiny.
Gamer. RPG.
You just can't get enough. You just can't get enough. Do.
I mean, I'll probably play at least the story since I own it.
It's okay, Tactical. It'll only take like a couple hours anyway, so you know.
Haha, it's funny because it's sad.
And then finally, the news I have is Valve acquired Campo Santo, the developers behind Firewatch and the upcoming Valley of the Gods. Apparently, I think it was last month, Gabe Newell announced that in addition to Artifact, which is the card game based in the Dota 2 universe, Valve is going to be shipping games again. So Artifact, we know that they have 3 VR games in development, but there's supposed to be other not VR games also on the way.
I will believe it when I see it.
I guess that's true. Dota 2 was the last thing they...
I mean, that being said, Campo Santo, their stuff is first person, so it's like, I don't want to get hopes up for Half-Life 3, maybe, ho. Maybe not, though, because, Valve doesn't make games anymore, so... They just make money.
Campo Santo will be moving from San Francisco to Seattle. I guess it was like they talked about it a bunch, and they're like, the more we talked about it, the better fit it seemed. So we're doing this. And they're joining Valve, so that's cool for them. And hopefully cool for us and everyone else.
Or maybe a new Portal. Who knows? It's first person too. For Dead. I'm only saying. I've been like wishing for that game for like 10 years. Valve. Only been saying that. Like Turtle Rock. They went to go make that effing Evolve game. Yeah. How'd that go? And then haven't heard from them since. So thanks a lot, Valve. Yeah. I'm sorry. I'm just angry. We have all these co-op games, and it's like, nobody wants to make an effing new effing co-op game, and it's like, now let's make effing Battle Royale this new thing in FPS. It's like, it's so big, and it just blew up, and then we're all just jumping all effing over it, and then just the trader co-op just went right by, and everybody's like, F it, F co-op. It's like, oh, except Destiny, but that was an effing failure, so yeah, whatever. Terrible. Darkest timeline. Go for yourself.
Oh my.
So that's the news I have. I feel like there's a big thing that I missed. I just can't remember what it was.
It wasn't important.
Came out.
What was it?
Detroit demo came out.
Oh yeah, but that's out now.
Yeah.
Enjoy.
So now it's old.
can't think of anything new tropical, so whatever, man. If we think of it until next week, we'll just talk about it next week, man. Whatever, no big deal.
Cool. Cool.
E3 is like a couple months, so there'll be new stuff to talk about then. So yeah.
Oh yeah, E3 is soon. Oh my goodness. Ooh.
Sorry, I'm congested, so we're like getting really tired.
Okay, so yeah, Aimless Babble Z, check us out. AimlessPodcast.com, Aimless Babble Z, Twitter, Facebook, YouTube, wherever the F else on the internet. Wow, I didn't mean to throw that.
Go
the F else
research
on there.
those arcades. Oh, I said it too soon.
Aimless Arcade! No, sorry, that was okay. Oh my gosh, stop talking.
Now it appears on the island. That's all it takes.
That is all
Guess
it
what,
takes.
guy in the corner? You got a place to go now.
I think he died.
Come on, let's go.
I think he died.
He wasn't eating the repetats?
He was not. It turns out their meat is very toxic.
No. Guy in the corner.
Anything to say?
You will miss thee.
Anything to say before we sign off RPG?
Paragon, you will be missed. As you will no longer be a fixture on the podcast like you were in the past. And it is so hard to say goodbye to yesterday.
Anything to say before we sign off, Tropical?
We should really actually collect a list of everything that we lose over the year and then do a tribute video at the end of it. With RPG singing Boyz II Men.
We should. Pouring out for the fallen comrades.
Actually, when I was playing with Yukino and Thrallmine on Monster Hunter Night, they said that we should make an ASMR of all like the mouth noises I've made and everybody else has made on the podcast, and just like make it an AMSR thing on YouTube, and just like have it be a thing. And just like that'd be weird. Or like me and my buttons mashing too, because I can't help it. Sorry, but yeah.
you do press the buttons like really hard when you because I'm like, what is going on? It doesn't require that much button pressing.
I think it's all the despair in my soul, and it comes through when I play games, and it's just the release of the button.
That's dark.
The kinetic energy of like me and the controller is like so. It is so intimate, you know, and just gotta get it out. Just like hold it in all the time. Or like darkest time, and like all the things I see every day on the news. Just like, it just builds up, and I'm just like the only time I can get it out is when I'm playing games. It's the only time it comes out. So you know.
Wonderful.
But yeah, internet. So you know.
Sounds. Seems right. Seems right.
Until you see or hear from us again, out there tapping buttons in the internet. Aimless Babble Z, and we're now signing off.